What's going on, everybody? It's X420 Brolo, and I'm happy to bring you my new PVE DPS build for the Homestead DLC. We're gonna get right into it and show you guys what gear we're running. We can use Maelstrom Inferno Staff. A better one to use is Infallible Aether Sharpened. I have torugs pack swords. You could use willpower as well. It's not that much of a difference. You would like sharpened though, but I have Nirnhone, second best. We got Grothgar. Prefer to use divines on everything. Unfortunately, I do not have divine shoulders, but I have divines on everything else, and we have Infallible Aether Jewelry. You could use willpower for the meantime if you do not have the Infallible Aether, but it is a nice DPS difference. Best in slot is obviously the 5 Burning Spellweave with 5 Moondancer and 2 Grothgar. But if you don't have that, which is a little bit more difficult to farm, this is a great place to start off. Now let's get into our champion points. So I have 600, just so you know. We're going to put 100 points into Magician. We are going to put 95 points into the Arcanist. And 5 points into Tumbling. As far as the blue tree, we're going to put 29 points into Elfborn, 90 points into Elemental Expert, 5 into Spell Erosion, and 1 point into Blessed. The rest of the points are going to go into Thaumaturge, which is going to give us the Exploiter passive, which ends up increasing our damage against off-balance enemies by 10%, which over time could be a big difference. As far as the red tree, in PvE I'd like to run 100 points into Elemental Defender and 90 into Hardy, and 10 points into Quick Recovery. Okay, so now let's go over our skills. We got Breath of Life as a heal. In a trial situation or even Maelstrom, I prefer to use Harness Magicka, but in a group situation, I like Breath of Life. Using Purifying Light, Radiant Oppression, Inner Light, Puncturing Sweeps, and Ice Comet. On the back bar, we're going to be using Blazing Spear, Blockade of Fire, Rearming Trap, Inner Light, Reflective Light, and Fiery Rage. As far as Rearming Trap, that changes depending on what I'm running. If I'm kind of supporting the group a little bit more, I'd like to run Elemental Drain. If somebody's already running it, then I prefer to run Ritual Retribution, as Rearming Trap has to be put into a single target, and this ritual can hurt AoE over a large period of time, giving me more damage actually in that situation. But while DPS testing, you definitely want to run it, as it gives you 10% extra critical damage. Now as far as what we like to use as food and potions, if I were to use max health, max Magicka food, my stats are looking at 40,788, and my recovery is hurting by a lot. This is the max damage I could do per second, but I find myself running out of magic before I can even kill the thing. So when you start running out of magic, you lose damage per second and you could die. So it's actually not better to go max magic, max health, unless you can actually sustain yourself, which I'm having trouble with. A more practical situation is the Witch Mother's Brew. It gives me an extra recovery, so I have 1391 magic recovery, but my max Magicka took a big hit. I lose a little bit of damage, but in the end, I think that I get more damage because I do not run out of magic. When I'm running out of magic, I can't put out any damage, so DPS per second is 0. Now, once I can sustain myself, I'm definitely going to be switching to the max magic, max health, as it can give me more. This is the Witch Mother's Brew. As far as potions, I prefer to use Essence of Spell Power. Essence of Spell Power gives you 20% spell damage, plus it gives you spell critical, plus restores magic, plus recovery for 47.6 seconds. It's an amazing potion, although it can get a little expensive. I have a lot of AP, so I like to buy the Alliance Spell Drop. The only difference is it lasts 7 seconds less. Normally, that'd be a big deal for me, but if you have your alchemy up and you put points into medicinal use, your potions will last 30% longer. So basically it'll overlap regardless. Now before we get into DPS testing, I want you guys to understand that these are all the buffs that most of the time go into a trial. Now here we're going to be running with Wall of Elements, the lightning version. That's the buff that my buddy's going to be giving me. And Ellie Drain. Everything else will be on me. That allows me to be able to put Rearming Trap, and other things on my bar. One key thing that I like to say that keeps my DPS to go a little bit higher is when I apply certain things such as rearming trap and purifying light, I do it at the exact same time as I switch my bar. That avoids the animation and it saves me about a half a second. Over a minute and a half that could turn into a bunch of seconds, so just keep that in mind. $33,000. Now that's enough to get you into any trial group in this game, period. If I had max health, max magicka, plus worm cult, plus all kinds of recovery buffs thrown at me, I might be able to even get even higher. Now, this is what I can do by myself with no support. That means you being the support as well. You're losing rearming trap, but it's not practical to have rearming trap anyways. So we're gonna throw Ellie Drain instead of the rearming trap and just go based on self-sustain. Now the best way to go is right around 30%. You want to apply your final dots and then hit radiant impression all the way through. It doesn't benefit you to cycle in any dots in the way because no dot's going to give you 30k DPS like this radiant impression is. In the end, you get a little bit faster if you start burning from 30%. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything else you guys would like me to explain, leave a comment down, leave a like, subscribe, whatever you gotta do. Peace.